In the dark of night, a single glass of water would seal the fate of a Japanese heavy cruiser, a paradox that would haunt the survivors for the rest of their lives. The year was 1942, and the war in the Pacific was raging on, with the Japanese Navy dominating the seas. But on this particular evening, something was amiss, a sense of urgency settling in, as the crew of the cruiser prepared for battle. The stakes were high, the tension palpable, as the clock ticked away, each passing minute bringing them closer to their destiny. The Japanese heavy cruiser, Atago, was a formidable warship, with a crew of over 900 men and a reputation for being one of the most powerful ships in the Japanese Navy. But despite its impressive arsenal, the Atago had a weakness, a flaw that would ultimately lead to its downfall. The ship was part of a larger fleet, tasked with supporting the Japanese Army's invasion of the island of Guadalcanal, a strategic location that would give the Japanese control of the Solomon Islands. The crew of the Atago was on high alert, knowing that the Americans were closing in, and that time was of the essence. As the night wore on, the crew of the Atago encountered their first obstacle, a series of delays that would put them behind schedule. The ship's captain, Nobuki Ogawa, was a seasoned veteran, with years of experience, but even he could not have predicted the series of events that would unfold. The delays were caused by a combination of factors, including poor weather and a lack of communication with the other ships in the fleet. The tension was building, as the crew struggled to make up for lost time, each passing minute feeling like an eternity. The clock was ticking, and the Atago was running out of time, the Americans getting closer with each passing hour. The situation was becoming increasingly desperate, as the crew of the Atago faced one complication after another. The ship's engines were straining, the fuel was running low, and the crew was exhausted. The captain knew that they had to act fast, or risk being caught by the Americans, and sunk. The minutes were ticking away, each one feeling like a countdown to disaster. The crew was on edge, their nerves frayed, as they struggled to stay ahead of the enemy. The Atago was a ship on the brink, its fate hanging in the balance, as the clock ticked away, each passing second feeling like a lifetime. If you're enjoying this story, and want to hear more about the lesser-known moments of World War II, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Kronos Combat, where we explore the hidden stories of war, and the human experiences that shaped history. We're committed to bringing you the most immersive and suspense-driven documentaries that will keep you on the edge of your seat and leave you thinking long after the video is over. The decisive moment arrived when the Atago's captain, Nobuki Ogawa, made a fateful decision, one that would change the course of the battle and seal the fate of his ship. It was a moment of pure chaos, as the Americans launched a surprise attack, catching the Atago off guard. The ship was hit, its engines crippled, and its crew in disarray. The clock was ticking, each passing second feeling like an eternity, as the Atago struggled to stay afloat. The captain knew that they had to act fast, or risk being sunk, and he made a desperate decision, one that would ultimately lead to the ship's demise. The glass of water that had been left on the captain's desk would become a symbol of the ship's fate, a reminder of the human error that had led to its downfall. The immediate aftermath of the battle was one of pure devastation, the Atago lying crippled and sinking, its crew struggling to survive. The Americans had won the day, but at great cost, the sea littered with the bodies of the dead and the dying. The survivors of the Atago were left to pick up the pieces and wonder how it had all gone so wrong. The clock had stopped, the ticking of the seconds, replaced by the sound of screams and the cries of the wounded. The Atago was no more, its fate sealed by a combination of human error and bad luck. This story is rarely told, a forgotten moment in the history of World War II, but one that highlights the human cost of war and the importance of timing and decision-making. The Atago's fate was a reminder that even the most powerful ships can be sunk by the simplest of mistakes. The glass of water that had been left on the captain's desk had become a symbol of the ship's fate, a reminder of the human error that had led to its downfall. If you want to hear more stories like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Kronos Combat, and share this video with your friends and family so that we can preserve the forgotten history of World War II. The story of the Atago is a reminder that time is a cruel mistress, and that the decisions we make can have far-reaching consequences that can change the course of history in the blink of an eye.